All right, to start this video off, we're going to take a look at the expertise and how it's different on Beyond. Medics is one of those classes that has received a lot of attention, and there were some recent changes that just got pushed through. So whether you're a player considering coming to Beyond, or you just started on Beyond, or you're a current player who maybe doesn't necessarily know the changes or understand the changes, this video will tackle all of that. So we'll look at the field survival page, and if you're used to another server, you'll notice that this page looks a lot different. And one of the big things that this page is missing is med buffs. So what Beyond has done is a really important quality of life improvement to the game is they have taken all the med buffs and they have thrown them on the profession wheel. So you'll look down here, I have all the med buffs without putting any points into that, and regardless of the jewelry set, you still get these buffs at a 3-hour length. So I'll go up here and look at this. It's lasting for 3 hours, which is really nice when you're doing PvE, PvP. You don't have to come back and get buffed and all of that. So that's really nice. That's a really good, important change. So let's take a look at this first page and some of the expertise boxes. We have our basic 4 basic stats, primary stats. We have strength, agility, con, and precision. I get a lot of con and agility. I know some people will get strength or precision, but those are pretty much the same. We start getting down to the second line, and this is where you start to see some of those changes. There's still the innate armor box that you can get, and then there's the different defenses that you can also stack up on with block chance, critical hit defense, and dodge. I don't know of many medics who are getting any of these boxes, but they do exist if you want to take those defenses. There's also the healing hate reduction, which once again is another one of those things where I don't know that many people are getting, but they do exist. It does exist in the same way. And this is really one of the big changes is they've redone how the damage side of this and the weapon side of this of medic on this first page works. So other servers have this split up into ranged and melee, and then the range is limited to carbines and pistols. This one does all that in one line and one tree. And they've combined ranged and melee. They've also unlocked it so that all the ranged abilities can be used with a rifle, and all the buffs apply to those as well. So you'll see that ranged damage increase and that melee damage increase right there. They also have Deuterium Strike, which is a burn. It's a debuff if you get the debuff part of it, and that will proc pretty frequently here. They have Advanced Deuterium to Strike, which increases the chance of it, and they also have a second burn that can be added. There's also Burst, which is, I feel like on other servers, is kind of a meme, but and we'll talk about jewelry sets later, but Striker medics will spend a lot of points in this line to really get that damage number up. You also have Burst Damage. You have Advanced Burst, which is helps with the length of the debuff and all of that, as well as reduced action cost. Now, what you'll see is a lot more medics on this server are going to use things in this first page because a lot of this has some new viability to it. We go over here, evasion's pretty much the same as it works on other servers, and so that's essentially the same. Now, this Focus Resilience box is something that is a Beyond exclusive, where it's a new buff that's been instituted, and it starts off with 1 point. You get some bonuses from that, but if you invest all the full 5 points into it, you're really starting to see this buff become really powerful. You get an additional 1,000 armors, and then you get heal pot with that as well. So if I'm going to target myself, give myself the buff. As you can see, it's going to be 1,000 to kinetic, 1,000 energy, and then heal pot of 15%. This is a really good buff to use on a tank or shot caller or a BH pushing for traps, or somebody who's in bad shape, on yourself when you're in bad shape. It's a great buff, and it has significant impact. I've seen it many times where a shot caller gets caught out wide, they get dired, we give them that buff and they live through it, where in most cases they wouldn't. So it's a really cool buff and an addition to that. Going over that second page of medic specialization, a lot of this is going to be very similar, but there's some things that have been added into the game that are going to really expand these abilities. So if we look over here on this first side, more of the healing side, and then we'll get over the Doom side over here. The healing side, all this is very similar. You have heal pot on your heal over time, whether that's back to fusion or back to burst. You have heal pot in general. You have Cure Affliction, which is the same. And then you have the Drag Corpse ability is part of your profession wheel. And so what this does is this gives you extra range on that. And so you're getting out to 50 meters with the advanced drag corpse build, or excuse me, point box. Over here we have back to spray effect area. So that can increase your back to spray from 25 meters to 30, which is really big. And you also can get advanced back to spray, which is a stronger back to spray. It heals more. It gives a little bit more healing to the group for that as well. This is very similar. It's the revive cooldown, which is the same. We have blood cleansers, which here on Beyond is a 60-second timer or cooldown. What you can also get is advanced blood cleansers, which takes that off for 20 seconds. So you can be popping advanced blood cleansers every 40 seconds. I'm currently in a PvE build, so I don't have that. But in PvP, I always have that because I want to have that used on cooldown. Back to bomb, same old, really powerful, strong heal, your single target heal. We have the heal efficiency, which is the action cost on that, which is the same. We have serotonin boost, which is going to remove debuffs. We have back to grenade, still not a great ability in my opinion. It's still on the same cooldown as spray. I don't personally take it. I know some medics try to make it work, but not something that I use. We have Reckless Stem. This is for those of you who may have played on another server where it got nerfed, Reckless Stem is extremely powerful here. It takes away your health and gives you back action, which you have almost endless heals, so it's a really good trade-off. It's very strong here. And then with stasis others, and stasis self. The debuff line is pretty much the same. Vital Strike action cost, Vital Strike damage, back to corruption, electrolyte drain, all those are the same as other servers. Your damage over in time increase, dot duration, serotonin purge, rheumatic calamity, traumatize, thyroid rupture, all that's very similar. Is all very similar to what you'll see here on Beyond. Alrighty, so now I want to look about different expertises that I use and different builds that I would use. The first thing I'll show you is what I would use for strikers, or if I'm doing PvE. This is going to be more oriented towards doing damage and in getting points in that, and focusing on the damage abilities and healing. So on this first page, I'll go ahead and get agility and con. Remember, you could get precision or strength here. I'll invest these points into the different damages over here. I'd get focused resilience because that's a great buff. I would get evasion and burst. So that's all of that on the first page. Go over here to the second page. I would get the heal potency. I would get key reflection. I would get back to corruption because that's needed for a lot of the legendaries here. That as well as purge. Get the advanced spray. I'm going to skip out on the drag. We shouldn't have too many people dying, so don't need that, or advanced blood cleansers. Get bomb, obviously. Get boost. Going to pass on back to grenade. So that's what our striker PvE build looks like. Gets all the important things on this page, as well as the important damage, as well as heals and defenses on this page. So that's my striker build. So from here, we'll go into my FR build. This is the full heal kitten build. What we're going to do is we're just focused on healing and surviving. So get some extra armors there, get focused resilience, and get evasion. We're going to come over here and get all the basic or all of the advanced healing options here. So we'll get the advanced drag, we'll get back to spray, advanced back to spray, we'll get serotonin boost, we'll get advanced blood cleansers, that shorter blood cleansers timer. We'll get a stasis, of course, and then I'm going to invest some points in here to get the back to corruption because I still want to have that heal cut. And then I'm getting my dead pet so that I have a little bit more defenses. From there, you have one free point. Really doesn't matter where you put it. I'm going to put it right there. So this is my FR build. We'll have that 1 point in dead pet. We'll have most, if not all, the healing stuff except back to grenade. We'll get our back to corruption. We'll come over to this first page, get focused resilience, get evasion, and that's our heal kitten build right there. And the last expertise I'll show you is the classic Doom build. This is going to be the 45 points on one page. So essentially, we're going to get all the debuffs over here, invest in these, While at the same time, we are going to get all of those healing boxes, everything except back to grenade. And the way this will work out is if you use all 45 points on this page, you should have 1 point remaining. You could get back to grenade. I usually go over this first page, throw it in con or agi. And so this is our Doom build. It's going to be 1 point here, 44 points here, missing that back to grenade. If you invest in back to grenade, fine, not a big deal, but I don't personally invest in it. So that's the different expertises and builds that I use based on the jewelry set we're wearing. Now we're going to take a look at the different jewelry sets for Medic. Here on Beyond, we have 7-piece jewelry sets instead of 5-piece. We've added earrings, so it makes these jewelry sets a little bit stronger, and they have some different abilities. We'll take a look at the Striker set. Now you're going to be using the Striker set if you want to do a little bit more damage. If you want to, you still do great healing, but if you want to use burst, use deuterium rounds, really be pumping that damage with dots and all of that, you're going to want to stick with the Striker set. With a Striker 7-piece, you get a 24% chance to reset Vital Strike cooldowns. So you're having resets of Vital Strike back-to-back sometimes, and it's really good to pump damage with those. You're going to also get reduced action costs for those, so it's going to cost less, so you're going to hit it more. You're going to have increased burst damage, as well as increased deuterium strike chance. Finally, you get the increased dot damage as well. So everything's just going to hit a little bit harder with the Striker set. Now, the really cool thing about Striker set that it adds is if I hit self-stasis, I still run at full speed. So using the 7-piece bonus, I can still run at full speed while in self-stasis, which is good. You can still be dire snared in stasis, but it gives you some freedom to get out of some sticky situations sometimes. In addition to that, what Striker 7-piece gives you is advanced serotonin boost. So when I hit boost on somebody, I'll go ahead and drag it on the bar since I didn't have it. If I hit boost on somebody, that ability typically takes off 1 debuff. If you're using a Striker 7-piece, that will take off 2 debuffs. So if somebody is riddled with debuffs from a Doom medic or from a bounty hunter or a smuggler, you can really spam that to take off a lot of those debuffs. So that's all those 2 abilities are just restricted to Strikers. Next up is our Doom set. Now, our 7-piece Doom set, what you're really going to be doing with this is doing debuffs. So using those debuffs that you've gotten and proccing Doom. That's really what this set's about. With the 7-piece set, you have a damage over time cooldowns reduced by 40 tenths of a second. So you're going to get those back a little quicker. The medic debuff duration is increased by 7 seconds, so those debuffs are going to last longer. You have a 20% chance to reset a medic debuff cooldown, so you get a free reset on those. You also have a 20% chance to eliminate the action cost of a medic debuff, so you get the free shot, and then a 22% chance to cause Doom, which is a debuff in itself that will proc all the debuffs. So really similar to other servers, just a little bit amped up a little bit to be a little bit stronger. And that 22%, you really see a lot of Doom proc, especially on a medic that is procking a lot, or a medic who's doing a lot of debuffs. You're going to see those debuffs spring up. And so that's your Doom medic 7-piece set. The last set we'll take a look at is our FR set. This is obviously the dominant heal set. It has been very strong historically on Beyond. It is still very strong. You can do a lot of healing, get a lot of heal resets on this, and really pump out that healing numbers. You have a 30% chance to reset single target instant heal cooldowns while healing others. So if you're hitting bomb on others, if you're hitting ampule on the others, you'll have a 30% chance to get a reset on that, which is huge in BFs and huge in PvP and in PvE as well, especially if the team is taking a lot of damage. You have a 20% chance that a medic's healing actions cost is eliminated, so you'll get that free shot heal, no action needed for that. You'll get a 20% chance to reset revive cooldowns. That includes your PvP res, your PvE res, and your PvP and PvE area reses. So those can be really strong in getting the team back up. The invasion comes back quicker, 40 seconds quicker, and then the stasis field self cooldown is reduced by 2 minutes. So you're getting that self stasis back really quickly. So you'll be using this if you the FR set if you want to be a heal, just focus on healing. You want to be somebody that's going to heal and stay alive, you're going to use that FR set. Something I also want to mention here is in your stats is that heal pot number. Other servers have that heal pot max at around 82. Here you can see that heal pot really get up into that 115 range if you have every buff in the game. Now I'm not going to go into every single thing that you can get heal pot off of, but there is cantina food, which is something that can be explained in another video that you can get that gives you the Yoda soda gives you heal pot. Pumpkin spice, which is a spice, obviously gives you heal pot. You have familiars that give you heal pots. You have uh, healing potency power ups, which you can get. Those are good up to 17, which you can get heal pot off of. You get heal pot off the Jawa banner. You get heal pot off your exotics, which can be sliced to get more heal pot, and then you can get them off of your rebreather. There's a lot of heal pot in the game, and what that really does is it really amps up the healing, regardless of what set you're using. All right, for this next section of this video, we're going to talk about what Medic is like in PvE and beyond. Now, I know most of you all who have played on other NGE servers, you're going to think, oh, Medic is a snooze fest when it comes to doing PvE. On Beyond, that is not the case. These Medic in Beyond instances are a lot more intensive. There's going to be things that you need to purge. There's going to be things that you need to boost off of teammates. There's going to be mechanics that are revolve around these things, and so and it's very intensive for medics. Most of our legendary content, our 8-man content, is going to have double medic. You can do it with a single medic. You got to be locked in. You got to be with a good group. But most of the time on pug groups and normal runs, you're going to see two medics or a medic and a vanguard. And that's just because of the amount of damage that's coming in addition to the debuffs to deal with. Uh, they're just a lot of the mechanics revolve on skill checks around the medics, which is really fun when you play medic and you're really excited about medic and you want to be involved and not have to fall asleep during the middle of it. It's really awesome. As you can see here, I'm changing jewelry sets around. There's a lot of people who will do that depending on the boss. So sometimes they'll do FR medic, sometimes they'll do Doom medic, sometimes they'll do Striker medic. I will do Striker Medic typically just for the double cleanse, but you'll see that switch around depending on the fight. All that's to say, we're not going to watch these instances. I'm sure there'll be videos, or there already are videos talking about these new instances, but just talking about in general that Medic is a lot more intensive. It's a lot more engaging when playing on Beyond. Alrighty, so for this next part of this video, we're going to take a look at what Medic looks like in PvP on Beyond. We're going to use this AV8 battlefield as some video in the background while I talk about it. Medic on Beyond is very similar to how it plays on other NGE servers. It's a lot of healing, a lot of boosting and cleansing, and doing damage, which is unique to Beyond with how much we see medics doing in damage wise. The really cool thing about Beyond is that there is a lot of use case arguments for the different jewelry sets. So each set is viable in PvP and in battlefields, which is really cool to see. And a lot of it will depend on who you're playing against, whether that's beyond who you're playing against on Medic or what the other team is like. If, for example, there's somebody on the other team who's a really strong Doom Medic, then Strikers is going to be really valuable because you have that double cleanse. And the inverse of that, if you have a really good Striker Medic who is very good about boosting and cleansing, then it may not get the same value out of Doom as you normally would. FR always has a use case. You have the revive resets, the PvP area reset, the bomb resets, which are huge in a fight and can really change the tide of a battle. So you, like I said, you have a use case for all of them. The biggest difference on Beyond as compared to some of the other NGE servers is that the health pools, the heal pot, and the damage are a lot higher. So the healing numbers that you're going to see on Beyond are going to be a lot bigger as compared to some of the other servers. It's going to be a pretty commonplace thing to see a medic heal for 3 million healing. That's really commonplace. What it also allows us to do is do more damage as well. So it's going to be you're going to see it pretty frequently where there'll be a striker medic or a doom medic who does 400, 500k, 600k damage, and that's pretty commonplace. And so there's a lot of different play styles when it comes to medic, which makes medic really fun. I play a more of a healer role, more of a support role to occasionally get some doom procs out there. But there's other medics on the server who can play completely different. They're playing full heal kitten. They're not healing or they're not doing any damage to anyone else. And then we have some medics who are that's their main priority is doing doom procs or doing striker damage. And they're all viable, which is really awesome to see because on other servers it feels like you can only play medic a certain way and you're stuck in that. The big things for medic are going to be that boost and cleanse. I can't say that enough. Is like you want to be hitting boost and cleanse all the time. You can see here I have a bit of a drought in hitting it. I need to be hitting it more here. Just spamming it. For example, an FR set, you get a bonus heal off that, and so there's just value to that. And obviously, you want to get the debuffs off. There's a lot more debuffs on Beyond, and so like Striker has a lot of use case because there's so many debuffs, and sometimes those heal cuts get deep in the debuff pool, so it takes a lot of boosting to get those off. The other aspect obviously is healing. You want to make sure you're using cool or ampule on cooldown. You want to make sure you're getting good sprays and good back to bombs. I typically won't back to bomb somebody who has a heal cut. I know different medics have different opinions on that, but I don't want to waste it on Beyond. That back to bomb could heal for 23, 24,000 health. And so I want to make sure we get full value out of it. You can see me kind of playing like a commando here. This is not a good way to play. Don't play like this. You want to be in the middle of the group. You want to be at the end, back of the group, so that you can do that healing and all of that. Once again, boosting, cleansing, all important factors of things that you should be doing as a medic. In addition, you have some of these advanced abilities, whether it's advanced serotonin boost with the striker set or advanced blood cleansers. Those are all abilities that you should be using just to make sure that you're getting off cloning or excuse me, res sickness and all of that. Don't play like this. This is a bad example of how to play medic. I was playing like a commando there. Don't do that. The big things with medic is recognizing, what you need to do and how to react to a situation. For me, I set targeting macros for certain people that I'm playing against. So if I'm doing a battlefield, if I'm doing world PvP, I'll have a macro to target the bounty hunter, and that's my control key. And so I can just hit that control key, and then I can hit my stasis button, and then we're not getting dire. And I think that's really important. Also, the way that you target your group members is important in how you want to do healing. And so, like for example, are you clicking? Do you have hotkeys for these people? That's all important. So for me, I have a MMO mouse. I have the group members hotkeys on the side, the 1 through 12, and that's how I like to heal. You can click and heal. You can have hotkeys on the keyboard that you want to click, but that's going to make you have quicker healing and a better medic altogether. Really, medic is in PvP is really simple in the sense that heal. That's a big aspect of it. But there is some diversity into it on this server because you can play different roles. And it's really cool to see. I want to take the time to thank you for watching the video. Hopefully, you had the opportunity to learn something about Medic on Beyond. I hope it gets you excited about playing it. I am by no means an expert, so I encourage you to reach out to other Medic mains on Beyond to hear their insights and philosophies on things. I, of course, love talking about medics. So if you ever want to talk, ask questions, workshop things, send me a DM on Discord. I'd love to talk about it. Make sure you like and subscribe to SWG Beyond, and we'll see you in the next video.